Today I turned this disciplined and dutiful blue Chad into an angry red dude who has probably some headaches. After I rescued him from his plastic cage, I reloaded my hobby knife with a new blade and started removing material on his legs. I recently got my hands onto that 8-bound kit and wanted to use the shin guards from it. But as the Terminator armor is a little more chunky compared to the 8-bounds one, I had to adjust here, and as I am a lazy person who gladly uses oversized tools, I took out the rotary tool and hollowed out the shin guard even more. I advise using something protective for your eyes and mouth if you do it, as you don't want these bits and fumes inside your system. I tri-fitted and removed a little more material again, try to match the round armor reinforcements that are classic for Terminators. I brushed away the drill dust and went on with his loincloth, where I just removed the Ultramar symbols, trying to leave it as intact as possible. I also had to remove the Ultramarine symbol on his belt buckle. I will cover that up very soon. And when you're thinking, dude, just remove the relic hanging from his belt, it's obviously a trophy. To have a little more flexibility on what I could do to him, I cut away these helping plastic rods. And after that I put his torso parts together and gave him something to run towards the foe. Legs, for example. After that I bulked up his legs using the shin armor I hollowed out before. Clumsy me broke a horn of them off, which is very sad. And when the legs were in place and set, I got him a new belt buckle. This is some kind of an Age of Sigmar bit. If someone recognizes it, please leave a comment. And after that it was time to tackle that dangling thingies hanging from his torso. I still haven't built my Chaos Lord on Demonic Mount yet, so I might as well could use these bits here from him, which aligns so perfectly. I wonder if James used the same pattern here. And as I sit here writing the script, looking at this miniature, I realize that this is the art of kit bashing. Creating something without noticing you changed something. And as I am way too proud over this silly belt, I went on with these armor plates that cover his thigh or leg joints. And after that I looked up some images for the red butchers and thought, a chain fist is also pretty cool and I have never built one myself. So off goes the Ultra symbol once again, as well as the cabling on his back. On goes his original arm, and off goes this chainsword from a Chaos Space Marine. I tri-fitted it and thought that this is a little bit too long and removed the motor casing. And after that I used some green stuff to align it properly and show you this poor shot where I put on something like a hook onto the backside of that casing where the cable was attached. And after that I rolled another ball out of green stuff and pressed an 8-bounds arm into it to see how I could pose him. I wanted him to stand in a very wide open stance. When I achieved that, he got an 8-bounds shoulder armor for his left side. And for his right arm I again had to use the rotary tool and hollow out the pauldron once more. And by the way, if you haven't already, you could consider subscribing if you like content like this. Maybe we get to the 7,000 by the end of the year. After that I thought I really liked that base, and him standing on an ultra-ruined Ultramarine was a hidden gem. And when that was dry I gave him his first head. Don't get used to this one, it will be offered to his deity very soon. My main problem wasn't the head itself, but that it reminded me too much of the original miniature. But first let's remove the last Ultramarine symbol from his armor. By the way, who is this Antilocus anyway? I don't mean a mythological figure, but the in-law character. And why has Calgar stolen his armor? And with that question we go over to less provoking thoughts and cut this banner short. If you follow this channel, you might have realized by now that I'm a fan of huge trophy racks or something that tower on top of an armor. And of course there's nothing different here as well. I only tried to align the skull with that halo so he could look through it and being a little bit shy. And now that he has an oversized rack weighing down on him, I used his Chaos Chariot parts for some trophy racks to round up the look. I built so many Terminators this year and I still don't have the original Chaos ones. And while you see me doing this, I would love to thank my amazing patrons and channel members for their continued support. With your help I get these kits and can make some room for additional videos. And after that was aligned, I replaced his head with the most simple Blood Warrior's head I could find. And when that one set in place, I tilted it a little more towards his right side and went on with the painting after I gave him a skull for the skull throne. I started with brown for the soon-to-be white parts. Yes, white. Because I'm painting him like a red butcher, so only his torso and head will become red. For which I thought a purple undercoat might fit very well, so this as well as the fist get a coat of evil red. Which is a purple, maybe a dark magenta. After that I went on and started with the white armor, with neutral grey by Vallejo, and went brighter with wolf grey. The red armor started with gory red that I just very broadly painted over the parts that are meant to be red. When that was done, I painted the bronze parts with Pro Acrylic bronze, waited for that to dry and went on with the complementary color of jade. I loved that verdigris-like bronze effect on that box art of Angron and used Pro Acrylic jade for that with a lot of water until I had a shade-like consistency. And after that was dry, I darkened all the bronze parts down with Vallejo's Game Wash Black. And when that was done, I painted everything that's bone with a 50-50 mix of elfic flesh and dark rust. If you follow this channel, you may know I like my minis to be a little more dirty without clogging up the details. And after that I used the pure elfic flesh to highlight the bone and paper parts. After that it was time to edge highlight the armor, focusing on the head and hand and some edges like the armor plate on their thigh using hot orange. And when that was done, it was time to highlight the bronze parts with Pro Acrylic's light bronze. And after that there were only the eyes left, and these got a coat of turquoise and white, creating the illusion of an eye glow. And with that done, I sprinkled a little bit of love for the love god over his opinion deliverer and called it done. So what do you think about this little angry boy with white pants? I've built a pretty cool Terminator for Nurgle and now a cool one for Khorne. Let's make the squad whole in the coming year, maybe Belial as a Thousand Son, but I have no real idea for an Emperor's Children one. It would be nice if there's a Soul Custodes Terminator hero, but in my knowledge there isn't. So maybe you have some cool ideas, as I'm honestly not that familiar with the Space Marine range. Otherwise this channel would be named Space Marine Kevin. But there is no ring to it. And with that said, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, leave a like for the Light God, a hype for the Hype Throne. And I'm also wishing you all the best for the holidays, and we are going to see each other in the next one.